In 1991, a man walked into a college full of rage and power and hate with a fragile understanding of what women should be. We are subsumed, consumed, viewed, and discarded. This man threw us away like rags. For women who broke his standard, we were reminded that we should be meek and quiet and barefoot, pregnant, on our backs, and in position to remain. But let's not focus on him, because we know he bears all of the blame and all of the shame. Rather, let's focus on the men who left the room that day. Abandoned like an old house that no longer saw the beauty in it, like the framework you used to stand on, we no longer could house you. It was merely confirmation of the role we were set to play. When you are forsaken, it is the scramble and the desperation that creates the emptiness in realizing that you are alone, unwanted, and no longer needed. Cast away to the corner as if I need someone to pick up the pieces where I have been left behind. I am courageous, I am bold, I am the powerful woman who has stood behind you and beside you, and I still wonder why.
I love old school sayings. You know, the weird and crazy ones that come from grandmas and grandpas, aunties and uncles saying things like, pop rocks mixed with soda can kill you. Sitting too close to the TV will make you go blind. Cracking your knuckles will give you arthritis. And my personal favorite, step on a crack will break your mother's back. Now, I know these sound crazy and no one really believes them, but as a kid, I did. I would follow along the sidewalk, making sure everywhere I stepped, I never came close to a rivet in the ground, carefully calculating my next move, hoping not to ever step out of line. But when I did, I would rush home to make sure my mother was okay. The next time I would try even harder to make sure I never messed up again. Till this day, I still do it. Some people think I'm crazy. Yes, I might be a little paranoid, but better safe than sorry, right? So you can guess what happens when I was told a man never cries. Or you're too soft, or my personal favorite, you're too emotional. See, every moment I cried and every time someone called me soft, my pride made sure to rub it in my face. I told you they don't care enough for your problems. Every moment I showed an instance of passion or hurt and someone called me emotional, I made sure to grab bitterness out of the trunk, put it in the passenger seat and let it backseat drive my mind insane, numb my emotions like I used anesthesia on my soul. I grew silent. See, I watched my favorite idols on TV grow silent, and people praise them for their strength. They're strong and silent type. So that's what I had to be. So my mother got cancer and she broke the news to me. I simply walked away. Wait, I've seen this somewhere. It's hidden in my past, like men are somehow predisposed to the idea that if we get scared or frustrated or angry, that our only option is to run away. It's funny that men often boast about having more of a fight than a flight, but when it comes to dealing with emotion or adversity, the only option is to completely overwhelm it with force like a hurricane on the Gulf, or run away like a scared little boy. See, the hardest part of having this conversation is feeling like your feelings matter. The reason a swell of anger was welling up inside me, like how the clouds get darker before they thunder. I was actually in pain, and the moment that they asked me to stand, it made me feel like I didn't matter. Crazy, right? It's almost like asking someone to stand for Black Lives Matter, and they reply with all lives matter. Or better yet, it's like someone asking for a tissue, but instead you hold on to them because you might need one. You don't lose anything by validating one's existence. It's not as if you disappear the moment I say I hear you. My pain will still remain, I still remain, we still remain. Not to pick up the pieces, but shoulder the burden of caring for our mothers and our sisters, to help them thrive in a society that was created disproportionate from the beginning, to help them to be able to fulfill their potential as they have so effortlessly pushed us to fulfill our own. And the fear of not being heard, or screaming out in the middle of a crowd and no one hearing a word, no one acknowledging our fight, our anger, on how if a boy is too active, he automatically has ADHD. That somehow having energy means that something's wrong with you. Like, how do you expect a 10-year-old to sit still for 2 hours and learn math? I can't sit still for 20 minutes and watch a movie, or the fact that men struggle with depression and anxiety, but society has put a gag order on our mental health, saying it's not pretty enough for the spotlight, that our option is to suck it up and say it be like that. We struggle too. But if we stand together, validating one another's pain, one another's trials, instead of walking out that door like those men did, and we stand, and maybe that day, instead of men walking out, he walks away. On that day, we win.